I'm a natural sales guy that does not like sales.
Give me more.
My dad bought Lenny and Larry's in 2000 because he was transitioning from working with his father in the gumball business. He had a vending machine business. Gumballs. So, like, you take Edward to the store and he wants a gumball, you put a thing in, or he wants to ride a little pony down at, what's that market down in Santa Ocean Park? John's or Vaughn's or Bob's Market, you know? They have the horses, So that was my dad's and grandfather's business.
Really?
So, yeah. So,
like throughout LA, you guys had
all basically from Mexico, from the border, like Chula Vista, like down in San Diego, all the way up to Vegas.
How do you get into a business like that?
That's know. Wild. I have no idea.
I didn't know that.
That was my grandfather's business. So that him and his partner. So he had gumball machines. And weight scales. Back then they had scales. So you go to like the bus stop. I don't know, the Greyhound.
Sure.
And they'd have like a scale there. I don't know why people wanted to weigh themselves, but you would just go.
Oh, like at an arcade even, you see.
Right. Like, so that was his. I think he found one recently too, which is kind of cool.
No way.
Yeah.
So, that was you guys?
That was it. Yeah. Here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, here.
Okay.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Santa Monica Pier has gumball machines all over their arcade.
And that was us.
You guys. That was them.
Them. Your dad and...
I was a kid.
Right.
So I would hang out at the warehouse and I would like put together, like I would fix the machines and like, I mean, when you were a kid, when you hung out with your dad, right? After school or like on holidays or,
right.
So I would go to my dad's work because my grandfather and my dad were there and they were in the valley and we would hang out and I would like hang out in the back because they had work to do. So I would hang out with all their workers.
And like, I'm assuming this was lucrative business? At the time,
I mean,
it's fascinating. I don't know.
It was lucrative enough to to not have to like to be good,
right?
To do what you needed to do,
right?
Like we lived in a house, we didn't have to worry about money. We weren't eating like living hand to mouth. We got to enjoy life. We got to do what we wanted to do.
Okay,
and that's And
he would go around. They would do this industry.
Yeah,
right?
so people. I mean, during the riots, like they all got like looted.
Oh shoot!
And people would steal the machine. I mean, it was a crazy business. Wow. He'd have South Central. He'd have machines in South Central, so he'd have to like hire like tough guys.
What was the company called? Like
it was called West Coast Enterprises.
West Coast Enterprises.
Yeah.
I love the generalized name.
I know.
What kind of business is this?
Right. I mean, it was fun though.
Okay.
I mean, it was a fun business for me.
So then how did that get into like Lenny, Larry, and
so he had routes.
Right.
He had a product.
Right.
He collected money, like like cash, and so after that business went away, he sold it, I think, or he got into the bakery business.
Okay, got you.
So then he stumbled upon Lenny and Larry's, which was this company that was created by a couple bodybuilders.
It already existed?
It already existed, but it was very small.
Very small. Got you.
And it was the same thing. It was like, here's a product.
Okay.
It's healthy. My dad's like healthy-ish. I mean, he's
We're all
healthy.
healthy-ish.
He's healthy, right? I mean, he's healthy. He could, and it's a product.
And
it's
who were
healthy.
the bodybuilders? Were they?
You
said
Benny and Barry. I think they were like one was an American Gladiator, right?
So it was Benny and Barry, and they changed it to
Lenny and Larry.
Okay.
Yeah, they said they were clowns. They were used to work out at Gold's Gym and do all this stuff like that. So my dad got involved there, and he said it's just the same thing, right? It's like we have a product, we have we have accounts to go to.
Okay.
We can make money. We can collect cash.
Okay.
It's easy. His whole philosophy was like, you want to make money when you're sleeping. You don't want to,
That's the goal, right?
Right.
That is the goal.
So he figures, I can go on vacation and somebody's still going to buy my gumball or buy my Danish or buy my cookie,
Lenny
right?
Larry cookie, okay.
Like people are buying those cookies on the weekends.
Right. What made that special, and how you got involved with Lenny and Larry?
I think,
what did you do for them?
I did sales.
You did sales.
I was outside sales.
Okay.
I'm a natural sales guy that hates sales because
really?
I hate sales.
I would never think that.
I mean, I'm a natural sales guy that does not like sales.
Give me more. Like, what do you mean? You sold the Lenny and Larry? Like, you were
every gym, every coffee shop, 7-Eleven, all the Whole Foods.
You would drive around to these spots?
Yeah,
right? That's how you started.
I basically I did the same thing that he did with the Gumballs. So like I had routes. I had like 3 routes. So like we would break. I basically broke Los Angeles up into like 4 regions, right? Okay. So you have the Valley, you have the Pasadena, you have like Mid City, right? You have the West Side, and then further like Long Beach-ish area. So those were my 4 routes, my 4 days, right?
And you're building relationships with these stores.
Yeah,
that's why they're buying from you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hanging out. I mean, I don't really.
It's a good gig.
Like all I do is hang out. So like I just go and hang out at a Whole Foods for like 20 minutes, and eventually I'd start talking to these guys. Like everyone's like, you have to be persistent, and you never take no for an answer. Sure. And blah, blah, blah. Like I took no for an answer. Like if someone says no, I'm like, all right, cool, I'm out. Eventually you'll want it.
Okay.
I don't need to keep banging on your door. Like, I respect you. If you don't want my cookies, you don't need my cookies. I mean, I don't need...
That's a good way of looking at it. I should start doing that. You don't want my jewelry? Don't buy it. Like,
I got a bunch of other people. Right. That's what I was saying. And then, the beauty about this was eventually they did.
Why, though? What? Okay, this is where I want to get.
Eventually they did.
What eventually made them... Like you went other places that said, I want it.
Right. So like say we go to a trade show.
Okay.
Right. So we're at a trade show. Okay. Right. And like, there's like 4 of my customers there, right? And we're hanging out and we're talking and blah, 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 blah. And then the guy comes to walking, oh, I know this guy. I don't want to. And then the 4 guys are like, why not? We're killing it. This is the number. Like, look at how much money we're making selling. Like, what's wrong with you? So it's like, I'm not selling them anything anymore. They are. And then, he puts his head down. He goes, okay, well, what can we do? You know what I mean? Like, so eventually they buy.
They saw the light.
You just have to keep growing with your customers, and then eventually they see it.
That's actually
they miss market share, right? They don't want to miss out on the market share.
That's actually a great plan. You say, one rejects you, but you're going on to the next one that eventually.
Right. And that's
your product's good.
Exactly. Okay. And that's why I don't like sales, because what I read from all these sales books is like, you don't take no for an answer, which means like, if you say no to me,
right,
I'm not going to take no for an answer from you.
Sure.
Maybe I'm confused, but when you say no, I say, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to quit. I'm just going to go to somebody else.
Right.
And I'm going to go to somebody else, and I'm going to go to somebody else, and I'm going to keep going until I find my people.
I think that's what that means, and I agree with you on that.
Like, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my energy on trying to convince you to want something you don't want. If I force it down your throat and you take it, and then like
you don't like
you're not like, I need you to help me sell it, because I leave. I just give it to you, and you have to like put it on the shelf. You have to like merch it. You have to do all these things to it.
Right.
You have to say, hey, Avo, hey, George, buy these cookies. They're great.
Right.
Like I'm gone. I'm like onto the net. I'm like somewhere else.
Right.
So like, if you're not into it, then what's the point? You're just going to put it on the bottom shelf. No one's going to see it.
Right.
And then
I'm going to say it never sold.
Yeah. And like, it never sold. I'm like, of course it never sold. You put it like in the chip aisle. No one's looking for cookies with the chips. Right. Or you know what I'm saying? Like,
I get you.
It's like, there was like this whole, I don't know. And it just was very natural to me.
It sounds like it, even though you're saying you hate doing it. It sounds like you came naturally.
It was just very natural. And I don't know. It was just like my people. I liked them.